then dropped out of Columbia. Because I thought Langston Hughes was cool, so I was like, if he could do it, I could do it. Yeah, alright. One of the things my dean told me in high school, they're like, so what are you doing with yourself? I'm like, I'm teaching kids how to write poetry. He looks at me like, oh, that's interesting. How'd you do in English? I'm like, oh, English isn't poetry. Like, poetry's poetry. I mean, it's the difference. Then he looked at me like, yeah, how's your mom? So this is for any student who ever taught. Because I'm very real with my kids. You know, I don't sugarcoat shit for them. You know, these kids have beepers and cell phones and are dating already, and I'm like, dude, you're 12 years old. At 12, I was playing Dungeons and Dragons and Nintendo. They have 5 phones, like, Mr. B, you got a sidekick? I got an iPhone. I'm like, yeah, but I pay my bills. Your mom pays yours. I wish my mom still paid my bills. She'll be like, shut up. So this is called in front of the class. Appreciate your patience. Stick around for the slam. Slam's always fun, especially if it's your first time. And beautifully enough, not everyone here is a tourist. I'm kind of happy about that. And so this is called in front of the class. Okay. I'm standing in front of a class society has deemed derelicts and hoodlum, and I'm their teacher. I'm writing a poem that will save the world, and they say it has to be as good as a Nas rhyme and have more emotion than Tupac did. My class consisting of ex-gangbangers, graffiti writers, drug dealers, and students who have traveled too much in the public school systems. They are my students. And as their teacher, I've traveled as many roads as they have, and I stand in front of them without fear. Because they can smell fear. I am them 10 years ahead with poetry. Made a left turn, I made a 17. I tell them that road is approaching, and all you have to do is take that road so fast you'll pass whenever I catch up to you. I tell them in metamorphosis you can change your name, your place of rest, your careers, your goals, and then strive for that team so unattainable for so many years. One student says, how? How the hell am I supposed to get there? It's easy for you to say that, but I have one kid, one gang after me, and no job. How the hell am I supposed to get anywhere but down? And ask them, how bad do you want it? In the beginning, all I had was poetry. Everything else took a backseat. Girls, family, and work lasted part-time for 6 months with me getting fired for writing on the job. I tell them, use your connections. Intern somewhere. Learn to live. Live to write. Write to love. Love to learn. This is the last day of your life. What are you going to leave behind? What will be your legacy? And they stare at me like a rabbit in the headlights and say, I don't know. I tell them to open your chest and let whatever falls out, let it fall on the page. Let the page be a doctor. Let the page be a therapist. Let the page be a lover. Let the page be an enemy, punch it in the face. Let the page be the best friend that ever stabbed you in the back. Let the page be a Prozac. Let the page be a hip-hop. Let the page be a rock and roll. Let the page be that fancy ride you're always talking about. Let the page be that bling-bling on your wrist. Let the page be the underground beat that you're about to rip. Let the page be your autobiography. Tell them who you are. Tell them they're wrong for labeling you. Tell them your life may not be worth shit now. What you want, did you hope? So you want to take your life today or the next day. Tell them you're the ones that create beautiful art from stark reality and it scares the shit out of them. Tell them you're loved no matter what anyone says. Tell them you're loved and you're right. Head down for 15 minutes, pen in hand. No cares for structure, no cares for spelling, no cares for grammar. Never coming off the page. And the first student gets up and his mouth open wide and says, I want to live. I want to love. Yeah. Repeat it 100 times over. I want to live. I want to love. And I asked him if that was any good. And I told him, it's the best poem I've ever heard.